FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
When you look at this stuff from a social psychological perspective, things like, I think many things become clear. One is that mental illnesses act something like contagions. You look back, and this is easy to see if you look back over time. If you think of Victorian era Europe, where thousands upon thousands of women would display the florid symptoms of hysteria. This is dramatic, muscle tics and leg paralysis and hysterical blindness, and you could see from that distance of history, you can see that this is not a matter of those women faking those symptoms. This is a matter of the unconscious mind at any given moment in time and culture looking to speak the language of suffering for its moment in time. And that's what our subconscious does. We become unstuck for some reason, trauma, chemistry, and it looks around to understand how to signal that distress. And it picks up cues from the culture. And part of the culture that gives you those clues is the mental health profession itself. They determine how you think about the brain, whether you think about it as wires or whether you think about it as serotonin or how you think about it in terms of spirit possession or whatever. Those theories inform the behavior that you will then manifest. So once you step out of the clinical setting in a way and take a social psychological view of these trends, suddenly lots of things become, if not clear, at least you get a really interesting perspective on it. And I've always been really an enthusiast for that perspective of thinking about it, the psychological as the social psychological fundamentally, and how these things, these trends change over time and affect the fundamental sense of self. And it's very hard to, I'll say just one last thing on that, which is the currents you swim in any given moment in cultural history, the ways you pick up those cues of how you understand your sense of self are very difficult to see. And I always thought of it as like being a swimmer outside of the sight of land. You cannot tell the currents that are moving you along. But if you look across history, and as I suggest in the book, if you look across cultures, you suddenly get a more of an idea of what are these ideas and how are they shaping my sense of self, and why does that other person believe something differently, and where do their ideas come from, and things become a lot more clear, which is why